Hello.
Hello.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment at my house. I just had to wrestle my
We had a dog attack.
my 50-pound puppy
Puppy.
out of here. So he's not in the video now.
Yeah, right. And then we have this nice little cardboard doggy game. I'm not sure how effective it is.
It's not very effective. It's just how we roll here.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm Ginger.
I'm Dee.
And this is
Chattin with CHAP.
Good to see you again out there, everybody.
Yeah. I thought before we get started,
Yeah.
we're going to be tackling the 10 lies homeschool moms believe over the next 10 weeks. But before we get started, there's a couple of upcoming events.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, do you want to talk about College and Career Day?
I can. So March 21st, it's a Saturday, will be College and Career Day at Etown College, Elizabethtown College here in Elizabethtown. And what that is a day, well, prior to that, if your student signs up, they fill out the I Start Strong survey online, and that gets sent to Etown College. And the folks there go through it and study it and make suggestions for career paths for your student. And
awesome.
then it is cool. And then they come in on that Saturday and they have a meeting with the folks there at Etown, and they help them look through their results and give them ideas for what they might want to do in their future. And then there's also other sessions. There's sessions about financial aid. There's just general sessions on how to prepare for college as a homeschool student, not just for Elizabethtown, but for any college. And then there's also other sessions that are really good. Like there's been one, Peter Kroll talked about the difference between going to a Christian college and a secular college, which was very interesting. I loved that talk when I heard it. So just other things like that, but it's free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is free.
We love free.
Yes, so parents and students come, and you can bring, I would say it's geared like freshmen through seniors to come do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, March 21st, and registration is open.
It sure is. You can go to chaponline.com, click on events, and get more information there.
Yep.
So, and of course, you know I'm going to talk about convention. It's coming up June 12th and 13th at the Lancaster County Convention Center. But the big thing I want to talk to you about today are volunteers.
Yes.
Because convention could never happen without the awesome volunteers that we have. And we always need volunteers. And so just a heads up, registration will be opening March 1st this year. So early bird will run March 1st to March 15th. So that's a change. And that's also when our volunteer registration will be open. And you know, there's a lot of great positions that you can come help, you can come serve, and then you get the rebate on your registration. So talking about free, you know.
You can make convention free.
Yeah, you can make convention free. If it's a financial struggle for your family, you know, to come to convention, you know, serve a few hours, help out other homeschooling families, help out CHAP. It couldn't happen without volunteers. So if you want more information about volunteering, please drop a comment, and I will personally reach out to you because, yeah, this is what I'm working on right now, and hoping to get our volunteers lined up so that everything goes smoothly. But mark your calendars.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff to do.
Oh yeah.
From security to UCS to
it's as simple as
it's all
handing out the convention bags, helping at registration, helping with security, being in a prayer booth for a couple of hours. It's you know, there's just all these wonderful ways to serve, and ways for families to serve, ways for teens to serve.
Sometimes like a keynote or one of our speakers needs like a helper to stay in their booth while they go speak or something like that, and that's a really cool way to get to know some of the speakers.
Yeah,
that's a neat opportunity.
There's so many options, and so it couldn't happen without all the volunteers. And I need volunteers. We need more volunteers this year. We got by last year, but we could have used a few more hands last year. So so I just want to bring that up and have you thinking about it. And you know, maybe you're here watching and your children are a little older, or you know you don't feel like you quite need convention anymore in your life, but think about reaching back and think about
help out.
Think about the families that come, and think about being a blessing to them and saying, okay, I'll give a couple of hours of my time, even though I wasn't even planning on coming to convention. I'm going to come down and give a couple hours of my time because it's important. And it's important that families feel supported, and it's important that families have this option. And so just think about what convention has meant to you, and
make it possible for
others. So yeah, drop a comment if you're willing to help me out. I would love that. I'll reach out to you personally.
Oh, here's one more idea for you. I had a friend who had lots of curriculum to sell. She was done homeschooling. had lots of curriculum to sell, but you can't sell at UCS unless you're registered for a convention. So she registered, and then she volunteered to work in the UCS, and she paid, so she got that free. She got a registration fee free, and she sold a bunch of curriculum.
Yeah, awesome.
So it was
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So we're going to be talking about lies. You know, how many lies have I believed through the last 19 years of homeschooling? Probably the list is more than I could even, you know, because the enemy wants to come against what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But lie number one, you have to love homeschooling to do it. You have to love it. You know, you have to. Every day has to be lovable and great. And
yes, the best day ever.
The best day ever.
Better than the last day.
And
just keep getting better.
And perfectly organized. Hey, Corinne. But yeah, perfectly organized. Corinne's one of my wonderful volunteers. She does, Corinne. Yeah, she does the whole scholarship thing. She's amazing. But yeah, side note. But yeah, you have to love homeschooling. You have to love it. It has to be perfectly organized and be this picture perfect setting. No.
That's not true.
That's not true. That's
so
not true. No.
And I kind of think that's come from this picture in our minds of the picture perfect homeschool day. I kind of think it's come out of the past, a part of reality of the past, I guess you could say. Because I think back when homeschooling started, I mean, at least the stereotype here in Lancaster County is of the family, large family with lots of people dressed the same, jumpers. Everyone is a rocket scientist, and they all play 7 instruments and speak 3 languages. Yeah. And I think that became the stereotype because I think there were actually a number of families like that. But I think actually at that time in homeschooling's history, homeschoolers kind of had to be like that because they had to prove that we could do it. They had to prove that children could learn. They had to prove that they could be way above and beyond everybody else to prove the validity of homeschooling. So I think that's become the stereotype. And unfortunately, the rest of us who don't achieve that are going, oh man, I'm failing.
I know. I remember when I started homeschooling, I had this vision in my head that we were going to be on the cover of Homeschooling Today. All 7 of my children, they would all be dressed in matching outfits that I had hand sewn, holding their violins. Now nobody plays violin. I don't know how to sew. But it's just, I had this image in my mind. And so then I would have this image. I would go to convention. I would get my curriculum. I would plan. I loved the planning. Ding. But then day 1 would come. And okay, maybe day 1 wasn't so bad. But by a couple days in, we have some attitudes, including mine, or just, think about it. We're putting a family together, and they're together all day. It's like sinful little people and my sinful self, and fallen people all together all day long, and we expect this perfection, and it doesn't usually work out that way.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't have to be perfect, and I don't need to love it. There are some days when it's just flat out hard. Homeschooling is a challenging thing. It is a challenging thing, and there's definitely some things that I don't love about homeschooling. I don't mind taking a curriculum and making it happen. I'm really good at planning. We need to do it in this many days, or we can spread it out this much, or whatever. What I really, and I still don't enjoy this, is grading. I just don't, if it's like math and it's like it's right or it's wrong, you got an 80% because you get this many right out of this, and that's fine. But, English, grammar, how do you grade that? I just don't, the rubric, I get the rubric thing, but I don't get the rubric thing. Yeah. So
Side note, we are going to have an interactive session on how to objectively evaluate your children's writing.
Maybe I need to
convention.
Go to that.
But no, I know what you mean. I mean, there are things that I just flat out did not love. It was typically subjects that were hard for me to begin with, maths and sciences. And so even if they took science at co-op, well, I was still responsible throughout the week to make sure the assignments were getting done. Or when there's a big project, science fair type projects, I did not like. I just didn't like it. And I mean, this isn't all gloom and doom. I mean, we're not here to tell you that just hate it and do it anyway. I mean, it's not. I mean, we should strive for there to be joy in our home. We should, and we should strive to, out of obedience, there should be good things, and there are good days, and there are good things, and in the end, you can look back and see them. I think we just wanted to come on and just let you know it's okay if you're not loving it right now.
It really is. Yeah, don't think that it's all sunshine and roses over here. And I do love it. I love having my kids home. I love being with them. I love the aha moments. It's so fun. And it's really fun. Like my youngest doesn't get as much time as the others, and he just goes and does stuff on his own. So, and it's fun to hear him. And you hear him singing songs or doing whatever in the other room. And it's like, oh, that's so cute. So, or when someone comes up with a really good paper, like my one daughter did have a science fair project this year, and she came up with this really great idea, and we got it done during Christmas vacation, and it was good, and it taught her something about herself, and it was really good. So
it's not all gloom and doom, but it's just there are hard days, there are hard subjects, there are hard moments, and I look back on it with a lot more love and fondness than I had during it. I mean, it's just the reality. It was just long, hard days. That's the whole little saying. They're the longest days and shortest years of your life. Yes. Yes, they were. And I know for me, when it all came to a head, I don't know how many years in I was with homeschooling, because in the beginning I had a very strict schedule, and they all had to be up at a certain time. We had devotions at a certain time, beds needed to be made, breakfast had to be, and then as the years went on and I got tired and there were babies, and I started letting them sleep later, and I remember I started just having my quiet time by this window, and I drink my coffee, and I did not want them to wake up, because the day would have to start, and I would watch the school bus pick up kids every day. Every day it would stop right outside my house, and I would see the neighbor kids get on, and I would look at that bus and I would think, why are my kids not getting on that bus? Think of all the things I could do all day long. What am I doing? And I would just fixate on that bus every day, and it would set my tone for the day and my attitude. And one day, I'm just clear as day, the Lord just spoke to me, and he said, stop looking at the bus. I've called you to this. I'm going to equip you. Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but you need to be obedient. And from that day on, I really did stop looking at the bus, and I did find more joy in it, because if I'm going to do something, I might as well be joyful in it. So I found more joy. Sure. It didn't mean it got easier. It didn't mean I loved it all the time, but I had a shift in my attitude, and
that may be something to examine. Yeah. If you're finding that you're just all the time and irritated, and I really don't like what's going on here, just take some time and examine the whys.
Yeah.
Why is that?
So true. Yeah. So true. And maybe if you're not loving it, it's because something's not working, and maybe you need to change it up. And that's okay too. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I had this very strict schedule in my mind. I had this they had to be well-rounded, so we had to do everything. It was exhausting. I recreated school at home. It was just, I figured it all out. It was such a mess. My poor older children, they're such guinea pigs. But sometimes we need to readjust. Maybe we're hating it because what we're doing is what we're not supposed to be doing, or it's not necessary. We have this idea,
and it's too much.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know this. There's tons of good things to do out there. There's tons of good places to put your time into, but we can't do it all.
That's right.
They can't, the well-rounded student. You have to do music, and you have to do sports.
We all have
gaps.
To
do art. You have to do this. And that's one of the things that always frustrated me in my schooling experience, and I didn't homeschool, was that the music people did not get along with the sports people, and I did both. So they were always fighting for my time, and I'm the well-rounded student, and I'm not allowed to do two things, but whatever. That's a whole totally different story. But if you're feeling like you're not loving things, just take a look at what you're doing. Is there something we can let go? Is there some curriculum we can change? Because every time we get it out, everyone's like, and that's happened to me.
I know my evaluator, one of the greatest pieces of advice, Bonnie Griner, she's a speaker at CHAP also. Just see how the convention just comes right in here all the time. But no, Bonnie Griner, she's just a gem. She said, if it's not working, then stop. Do not spend an entire year with your entire family hating something. That doesn't mean if your kid hates math that you don't do math. But it's just if a specific
differently.
Right. If a specific curriculum is not working and you're hating it and they're hating it, but you spent all this money on it at convention, and you're after that, don't let that be a hill you die on. Switch it, find something else.
That happened to us this year, actually. My second youngest was doing it's a spelling program, and there was one part of it that just totally freaked her out. And every time I got to the day, I don't want to do spelling. It was a particular day of the week. We would do a particular activity, and she did not she was getting herself all worked up before we even got to it. And it occurred to me, I'm like, we don't have to do that part.
No.
We don't have to do that part. So we're still using the curriculum. We just don't do that particular day.
Right.
There's 5, and we do school 4 days a week because we have co-op the 5th day. So I just cut that one off and we do the other ones. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So
I think that
it works.
That will help.
Yeah.
But we're just here to tell you it's a lie if you think you were supposed to be loving it and you're not, because there are days that are not lovable. And but being obedient and doing what God calls you to do.
And you could bring your heart around too.
Yeah.
God will bring your heart around.
Yeah.
Be different.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was
great.
lie number 1. Join us next week, and we're going to tackle another one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
All right. This has been
Chattin with CHAP. See you next week.